kizazi libadilika. Kijana, soma, soma, soma. Kijana.
Hello, esteemed audience. I hope you're quite fine. I'm happy for you and I'm excited, and I hope that currently you are reading a lot of literature and examining one thing or two here and there. I am teacher Mzwenje Priska and I'm happy to meet you. I was so excited that I was just passing by some place in Nairobi and somebody was hesitant to talk to me. Then she told me, "Excuse me, may I ask you a question, and don't feel bad?" And the question was, "Are you the one who is analyzing a Parliament of Owls?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm so appreciative that you're part of the audience that I have. I didn't know that you actually follow up." And she told me, "You really helped me to understand that book. I never used to understand one thing, but you encouraged me, and I'm going to teach students." So that is the spirit I want from all of you who are watching me. And for those who have not watched, please watch, subscribe, share my videos, because I realize they are quite helpful to some people out there. Now today, I've just decided to talk about the book An Artist of the Floating World by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is one of the books that I consider easy, but most of the teachers and students are saying it is hard. I believe it's just because the book is a bit voluminous when you look at it. The color is again red. For those of you who have an attitude towards red, then you might be a bit hesitant to read it. But I encourage you. You know, books have a way that when they are just being introduced, they seem so difficult. But I can assure you, if you look even at the exam which was set this year, the question that came from An Artist of the Floating World was very easy. And I was just considering, for students who don't believe me, go back to the ages when Homestretch was being done. Go back to the time when Pearl was being done. Those books were scoring highly than any other books that we knew. So remember, this is an optional book, and you have this option, or a Parliament of Owls, or A Silent Song and Other Stories. Now the challenge that I know for short stories, if you're not very keen about understanding a whole story and the characters within it, you might tend to confuse one story with another. Now, I'm not discouraging you from A Silent Song or Parliament of Owls. I'm just giving you an alternative. Yeah? Now, let's go on and discuss something about An Artist. Now, for us to demystify this book, what should we do? I'll tell you for free. You have to understand that this is a kind of documentary. Somebody collected information about different phases of war, that is pre-war, war, and after war in Japan. Then they brought to the table and wrote a book that takes those three parts. Now, the book might seem very voluminous, but don't rush through. Read it quite slowly and you'll understand. Read it in phases. When you come to analysis, consider the main character first, and then you can proceed to the rest of the characters and how they connect to him. Because this is all about Ono. Now we have Ono as the major, the tree, and the branches are the children. We have another branch of the parents that he had. Then we have another branch that comes with the people he worked with before war, and then there is that life that comes after war. So you have to establish those so that you are very sure of what you are reading and actually analyzing in this book. I'll encourage you teachers, talk to your students. If there are those who don't like A Silent Song and A Parliament of Owls, don't force them and tell them An Artist, don't really go through it. It's a difficult book or tough book. No. Now, I'll start with the first character for today, and another day I think I'll be going on as I explore the branches I've told you. Now, I'm talking about Ono Masuji. That is the main character. Now, when we look at Ono Masuji, he has two daughters existent. That is Setsuko. Setsuko, remember, Setsuko. That is an eldest daughter that he has. She's already married. Yeah? Now, whom is Setsuko married to? You have to understand that, so that as you go by and meet more characters, you know what you're talking about. So Setsuko's husband is called Suichi. Suichi. Suichi now becomes the son-in-law to Ono because he's the husband to Setsuko, the eldest daughter to Ono. Yeah? Have you understood me? Now Setsuko has a daughter, not a daughter actually, but a son. Yeah? Do you know the son of Setsuko? The son of Suichi? The grandson to Ono, Masuji? I'm going to tell you if you do not know. Yeah, so the son of Setsuko and Suichi and the grandson of Ono, Masuji, is called Ichiro. Ichiro. I-C-H-I-R-O. A very simple name. So when some people say the names are difficult, I quite don't understand. Yeah? Setsuko, Suichi. They have a son who is called Ichiro. The father to Setsuko is Ono, Masuji. Do you remember the teacher to Ono? The art teacher? Morrison. Yeah? Morrison is the teacher, the first teacher to Ono. His other name is Seiji Moriyama. Seiji Moriyama. S-E-I-J-I, then M-O-R-I-Y-A-M-A. That name is quite easy, don't you think so? Yes. So, the next character is Noriko. N-O-R-I-K-O. Noriko is the second and the youngest daughter to Ono, Masuji. Noriko is the second and youngest daughter to Ono, Masuji. Now, Noriko has delayed to acquire a husband and be married off, and many people are worried about her. At some point, she and the sister kind of blame the father through Suichi's thoughts that maybe his compromising relationship with the many people he worked with. Yeah. So before I was interrupted by the call, I was talking to you about one Noriko Masuji, a daughter of Ono. And I was saying she had delayed. Based on the Japanese expectations, she had really delayed to have her marriage as expected. Yeah. So, who is this that's possibly courted with Noriko? Because we have two courtships, one successful, one that is a failure. Yeah. Okay. So, the potential husband to Noriko is known as Jiro Miyake. Jiro Miyake. I am saying Jiro because I want you to note the spelling. J-I-R-O. Miyake. M-I-Y-A-K-E. That is the potential husband to Noriko. They caught, and according to Ono, they rushed affairs, and they thought they were perfect couples. And so, we have marriage negotiations that do not work out between these two, Noriko and Miyake. So why does it fail? That is the question. I can tell you for free, I do not know why they failed. Ono says he does not know. Noriko also says he does not know. She does not know. But Setsuko has an idea from Shuichi that possibly Ono's past life, especially during war, just at the beginning of war and during war, caused failure of marriage between Noriko and Miyake. On the other hand, Ono believes it is because Miyake did not believe in himself. He was used to being bossed around. He was working in a low-cadre job compared to Noriko. Now, I've explored for you several characters. I have to go on. Ono had a son, but he was not alive. We just hear about this son when Ono is reflecting on the blame he's receiving from several people on having written an artistic propaganda that supported the young people to go to war, and they died from there, while leaving these people like himself, the old. Yeah? The son was known as Kanji. 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 We only meet him through the story. We are being informed that there was his burial and they buried the ash because they could not get the body to bury him. And during such burial, that is where Shuichi showed his contemptuous attitude towards Ono by, sharing out of himself what he thought. Yeah? Now I'll go to more characters. I just want today, I'm not going to talk about character traits and anything, but I'm just exploring the characters in this book so that you know who is who. Now, while Ono is at Mori-san's workplace, he meets so many people, and I want to mention some of the people he met here. Now, Ono tells us in the story that he met Yasunari Nakahara. Yasunari Nakahara. Spelling Y-A-S-U-N-A-R-I for Yasunari, and Nakahara, N-A-K-A-H-A-R-A. He met this man when he was working at Mori-san's villa. Now this man was also nicknamed, the tortoise. You know the tortoise? We know it for being so slow. Now this man was very slow at painting. While others made 6 pictures, he could be still making 2. And even when people joked, pressed him, he said he was doing so to come up with the best art ever. Yeah? That is one. The other artists that Ono talks about are not given names, so don't worry about them. If you are answering a question that needs mentioning of artists, you can just say other artists that worked with Ono at the villa. The next characters I'm going to talk about are the ones who worked under or with Ono, not in the villa but elsewhere. So I'll start with the students Ono had. Yeah? The leading student that Ono had is known as Sasaka. Sasaka. S-A-S-A-K-A. The other student who really loved a lot Ono is known as Kuroda. Kuroda. K-U-R-O-D-A. Roda. So this was a student who really was passionate about the teacher and could praise him all the time. They had a strong relationship, and he was a former protege of Ono. But when Ono condemned his aspect of change in art and reported the issue to the Committee of Unpatriotic Activities during war, there was a twist of events, and unfortunately, the irony part of it, he came to loathe Ono. He could not even forgive him. He could not even want to meet him. Yeah, that is Kuroda. Because he met difficulties after he was imprisoned, tortured by the police, after Ono had reported his art. Yeah, I hope you are following me. Now, the other student that Ono had, and he was quite loyal to Ono, he even conducted the propaganda during war, is called Shintaro. 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 This was a student of Ono. He helped him in creating a poster that campaigned for people to go to war. Yeah? So remember Shintaro, will you? Now, I think I'm through with the students of Ono. Now I'm going to talk about one great friend to Ono. Can you guess? Alright. Ono has one great friend in life, and all of us should know about him, Matsuda. Have you heard me? Matsuda. Spelling Matsuda. Chishi Matsuda. Chishi Matsuda. Chishi, spelling Chishi, Matsuda. So Matsuda was a great friend to Ono, and he's the one who introduced to him this complacency art that made Morrison to send him away from the villa. He took Ono one day and ensured that he showed him around the suburbans, yeah? And when he showed him that, he told him the political perspective of life, that we as artists, if we continue working as if things are just as they are, then we cannot really change the world. There were some young boys living in a slum kind of area, and they were torturing an animal, and they were not touched. So he just told Ono, can you change this with art? If you can't, then it is worth having political art that is not conventional as Morrison wants. So when Ono came and sat down, he really accepted that that is true. That is Matsuda. Then, now we have these business people who ran business around this place Ono lived, and the major one whom I appreciate is Mrs. Kawakami. Mrs. Kawakami. Kawakami. She owns a bar in the Pleasure District, and Ono took fellow artists and they could go there, have a drink, talk a lot, and learn. So she has this place before war, during, and even after, though business goes down. And when she's approached by the people who want to buy it, she even inquires from Ono, and finally we see her having sold it. Mrs. Kawakami, remember that. to go to the current husband to Setsuko. Yeah, the next character. Don't tire, because I just want you to understand these characters. Because I hear people saying there are so many characters and their names are complex. Do not follow what they say. Do it yourself. So the character whom I'm talking about here is Dr. Saito. Dr. Saito. Saito is an easy name, S-A-I-T-O. So he is a major art professor and a man of high social standing. Yeah, he's the only long-standing neighbor to Ono, and later on, his son intends to marry Noriko, and it happens. Yeah, he really respects a lot about Ono. Ono even doubts whether he pretends not to know that he had conducted propaganda or he just respects his space. Dr. Saito has various children, but we meet two major ones because of the events surrounding Ono and the daughters. And the one key sons that we know, yeah. So the first son of Saito, who later marries Noriko, is known as Taro. Taro is working in the offices and is very respectful and considers the worth of Noriko. Yeah, they are married and live happily. Taro, T-A-R-O. Then we have another son of Saito. He was living with Kuroda. This son is called Enchi Mitsao. Enchi Mitsao, spelling E-N-C-H-I, Enchi. Mitsuo, not Mitsao, Mitsuo. M-I-T-S-U-O. Enchi Mitsuo. This is the second son to Saito. He lives with Matsuda, sometimes receives his guests, but when he understands you are not a guest that Kuroda likes, he will dismiss you just like he did to Ono. When he realized this is the man who Kuroda has been talking about, and he's now here waiting for him. Then we have a former owner of the house now Ono came to buy. Do you know his name? Okay, if you do not know, I'll tell you, don't worry. So the name of this man is Akira Sugimura. I think for those of you, the teachers, the principals who go to workshops, will meet Akira. So that name is not difficult. Akira Sugimura. Akira, A-K-I-R-A. Sugimura, S-U-G-I-M-U-R-A. Akira Sugimura is a very ambitious person who in past built a very artistic house. He used to even contribute towards artists, and later on he had an intention to turn the whole park, Kawabe Park, into a cultural center. So he began a museum, a theater, a relaxation part, concert halls, and a cemetery for cats and dogs and all that. But it was unfortunate that all his money was not available, so he could not finish it. He is the same person who built a unique house that Ono came to bid and win. A unique artistic house. Yeah? So we have those characters. I've only left about two. I'm going to mention them. Okay. So the final character I think I've not talked about is Miss Suzuki. Suzuki. Many of us keep buying Suzuki vehicles. So that is not a difficult name. That is the lady who was taking care of Matsuda, because Matsuda did not have a family. He had been a propaganda artist, a complacency artist, but he had not a wife or children. So when he died, he had to give a will that the maid, who is Suzuki, would own all that he had. So those are the characters in this book. Don't let me down. I've given you a clear explanation about each character and the relationship, the branches I talked about. And so next time we meet, ask me about these characters. Now I can explore even the character traits if you want, even though I've done before, but I'll do it again for you, because you are the reason why I'm here. Don't shy away from an artist of the floating world. That's my plea. Please kindly consider this book. I'm not campaigning for anybody, but I'm just giving you an option that I believe it's friendly. If you will focus, you can even tell me, let's have a video discussion on this book. We open page by page, and I'm willing to do so, because I don't believe a literary analyst can pick on some books and say this other one. No. Don't dismiss a book just because it's voluminous or color, or because you have somebody say it's difficult. So I really love you. Bye bye for now. Ensure that you set on the notification bell and share my videos, because there are so many people who would wish to watch and be enlightened. Do respond or react to whatever I post. You can correct me if there is something I've said that is not right, because I don't believe I'm Mrs. Know-it-all. I just love literature, and that's me. And if you want a guidebook to this, feel free to order this copy of An Artist of the Floating World, written by me and my colleague Mary Milo. My number is 0729464528. Feel free to call and make an order of the guidebook to An Artist of the Floating World. My number is 0729464528, and I'll deliver wherever you are. It normally goes at 450 shillings, but if you come from very far, maybe I might have to cost share the transportation cost, especially if it's one copy. But I have other guides too for Fathers of Nations, The Samaritan, A Parliament of Oz, both episodic and chapter by chapter analysis. I also have mastery in excerpts and essays for Fathers of Nations and The Samaritan, questions with answers, essays and excerpts, as many as possible. In these books we have notes, and we have questions which have been answered, plus questions for assignments. I also have comprehensive mastery of oral literature, a very detailed book. For those of you who have bought, you can actually tell my other clients what you have seen. And I have comprehensive mastery of poetry, which we've done with Nelson Andai, a very detailed book. We also have mastery, a comprehensive mastery of paper 2, Rising Comprehensions. It has poetry, it has oral narratives, it has excerpts for both Samaritan and Fathers of Nations, plus grammar. It has also general knowledge on how to work here and there and maneuver in English. I really wish students love literature, because this one will boost them. Remember, literature is set in 2 papers, paper 2 and paper 3. Sometimes even in paper 1 for the reviews, synopsis and all that. Bye bye for now. Have a lovely evening.